What's up, YouTube? Dilio back with another review, and in this video we're reviewing a microphone. This is the Fifine K688 dynamic microphone, and this is how it sounds. So you're hearing the sound directly as I speak into it, and I'm sitting up. I'm not leaning into the microphone because I want to give you a real representation of how it sounds. I was listening to a few videos I recorded before this, and I thought that it sounds decent and good enough to be for your podcast or singing on it. Maybe I might do a singing video. I don't know. And also, just in transparency, because I heard this, and if you got a nice sound system in Studio Mods, you will hear a low hum, and that hum is not the microphone. It's the desk and my computer vibrating the desk in which this microphone is clamped onto. So I just wanted to be transparent about that, because that sound, I need my computer on to record this video, and so that sound is there. So let's just listen to it real quick, or listen to it as I talk to it. The S's are there. I didn't notice a lot of low end on it, but really, if you're listening to this type of the content on the phone, which is probably what the majority of people listen to, you don't need really sub frequencies on your phone. Now, you may have a fancy phone that can do all that sub stuff, and that's cool. But for this type of purpose, it's not necessarily needed. And I'm just talking so you can hear it working. So let's talk about some of the features on it. It is a dynamic microphone. It does come on a shock mount. The shock mount is pretty simple. I'm not too worried about build quality, but it does feel like a solid piece. The shock mount is very secure, and it is bolted in, so you can't just pull this out. But I do see that there's 4 screws inside this, and you can hear what happens if I'm bumping the mic too as well. But there's screws in here that's keeping it in here. On the side, you cannot see there is a mute button. So if I hit the mute button, and when I hit the button again, and it's a dual LED button, so green lets you know that the sound is passing through, red the sound is not passing out. And also, another thing I want to tell you about is that the audio that you're hearing right now is through USB. This actually is a full audio interface, and what I mean by that is that you can use this as your microphone input, hook up a set of headphones in the bottom of this, and put it on your head and listen to whatever's playing back from your computer or whatever else you want to monitor in real time and direct monitoring. I don't advise direct monitoring on anything going through the computer, but as far as direct monitoring from the device itself straight back to you, that's probably the best way to record yourself. Now, this does connect via USB Type-C. It also connects USB Type-B, I believe, because it does come with an adapter that enables you to go into Type-B connections right there. It's pretty simple. So you can hook it up to your computer, to your laptop, pair it up with a nice webcam like the Ozbot right here. You know, you can pair it up with this and get your content game on pretty easily. As you can see, it's a dynamic microphone, so you're not going to get the whole dynamic clarity of it. This is comparable, in my opinion, to a SM7B only, but the difference is, from my experience, is that the SM7B has a little bit more low end in it, so you can really push that low end in here. I don't really hear that in this microphone. However, it's not really necessarily needed to get the message across, unless you just want to convey a sound so you can feel professional. A lot of times creatives want to have things really together before they even shoot their first video, but that can kind of delay the process of getting started on your content creation journey. It has a few physical buttons on the bottom. Once again, volume for gain, I got it set just right for this video, but then you also set the mix right there. Has USB Type-C and XLR as well, and you hook it up that way, but I just wanted to hook up this way so you can hear a direct effect. Once again, that low hum that you're hearing is not the microphone itself, but it's actually the fans that my desk is connected to. I have a studio desk in which my computer racks into, and so unfortunately you will get a little bit of hum on there, and I left that in on purpose just to be transparent and actually to show how sensitive the microphone is. Now, this microphone costs $59.99 on Amazon right now. Comes in 3 colors. The other colors cost a little bit more. So the $59.99 is for the black one. The pink one is more than that, and the white one is slightly less than the pink one. And it just works really well. I mean, it clips onto this mic boom right here. This is actually a Fifine mic boom as well. Very maneuverable, solid, steady. But because it's directly bolted to the desk and the computer is there's no baffle between the computer. I know I keep talking about that, but there's no baffle between the computer and that. So you will hear that computer hum. But I left that in just to be transparent, because I know that if I was in the market for a microphone, I want to know what happens in real life. And this is a real life situation. If you're doing a podcast and say you might have had an SM7B and you don't want to go buy another one, you can get a pretty comparable sound to this. Hook it up to a good mixer. Do some nice post-production on your plugins in Premiere or your favorite video editing software, and you're off to the races. I mean, this is a great option. And like I said, you don't have to use this stand. You can use a mic boom and clip it to that, or use a C stand. You just want to make sure that it's anchored properly so it doesn't tip over. Maybe some sandbags or some weights will keep things in place. You don't have to worry about it tipping over and falling down. And it is really... It's a really cost-effective microphone. If I were to say, hey, someone asked me, hey, I want to start a podcast, but I don't have a lot of money to spend. Where do I start? This is actually a good place to start. The market is changing right now. You should really have to have, because the process of composing content or producing your videos has went from the studio downtown to your home, right? And so the technology is evolving to where you can get a good quality sound without really breaking the bank. And now really the excuse is not your equipment. The excuse is now, or what matters now, is how hard you're willing to work. As you can see, this does have a nice fluffy ran right there. So let's test some plosives on this before I go. So this is a P word: pop, pop, boom, bop, bing, bang, power of transmission, power, portable transmission, portable device. You will enjoy this portable device right here live on 2025 Amazon Showcase. You see, you can hear it kind of work on those plosives. Now, if I shout into the mic, you will hear it overload a little bit. I think the audio interface has a little bit of a limitation on things. So I'll just shout into it so you can kind of hear the limitations. Here is a situation where I'm shouting. Here that goes right there. So you do get that crack. Sorry if it hurts your ears, but I just want you to know what it's like when someone shouts into it, because that's something you have to look out for. They have to pull that microphone back. So, but as far as talking voice, if you just set this at a nice, good distance from yourself, sit up straight, talk normally, look at the camera or look at your script or look at whatever documentation you need to look at, you can really enjoy a good piece of content. So that's my review on this. I definitely would recommend this to anybody starting out or to anybody who needs an affordable setup for multiple microphones. Like, this is a great, like, say if I had a space and I had a desk and I wanted 4 or 5 people on the same podcast, you can either do this through USB or use the XLR ports. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but this does have an XLR wire on it, so you can hook it up to a mixer, gain it that way, hook it up all together and do multiple channels. Like, this is a great affordable way to do multiple channels with a few of these versus a bunch of SM7Bs. Like I said, both are great microphones for what they are, but I think as for an entry-level place where a lot of people are starting off building their audiences, this is the way. This is the place to start. So let me know what you guys think about how this microphone sounds. I have not done any high passing on it. That's why we hear the low hum. There's no high passing on it. I just turned it up in the video to make sure it's loud as possible so you can hear the best as possible on the device that you'll probably be hearing this on, which is your phone. If you're in the studio, you will probably hear the low hum of my computer. Once again, that's not the microphone. That's my computer bolted to my desk, bolted to the boom, which is bolted to this. All right. Thank y'all for watching. See you guys in the next video.